Hey, what's up, sixth graders? We are back, and this is 8.4. And I really can't stress enough that you need to have your notes open to the key idea, especially about volume of a rectangular prism. So when we do surface area, we're talking about everything on the outside, the top, the edges of the box. Like if you were getting a Christmas present, it's what the wrapping paper covers. Volume is inside. So like basically think of how much water could fit in there. And so volume is going to be a lot more than the surface area most of the time. And you're going to multiply the base times the width times the height. So don't get caught up in, oh my goodness, there's fractions, because you can just multiply this set and then take your answer and multiply it by this one. Okay, so in the notes it talks about volume equaling length times width times height. So let's take a look. So here we go. Length times width times height. That's the formula that you need to use. So we're going to substitute the values. We have 7/8, 1/2, and 5/8. Multiply all those together. That's what these parentheses mean. So 7 times 1 is 7, times 5 is 35, and you end up with 35 on the top. 8 times 2 is 16, times 8, 128. So 35 over 128 would be your answer. Let's take a look at this one. We have 3/2 times 3/2 times 3/2. So again, length times width times height. Here's the length, width, height. Multiply them all together, you end up with 9 times 3 is 27 on the top, and 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 more is 8. So 27 over 8, and that is an improper fraction. So we're going to change it to 3 and 3/8, because 8 goes into 27 3 times with 3 left over. So the volume is 3 and 3/8 cubic inches. Or you can write inches cubed. All right, let's take a look at some more here. So we're going to find the volume and multiply
Find the
all
volume
three of these
each
numbers
prism.
both times.
Part A. The
Okay.
volume of a
Let's take a
rectangular
look at the
prism
tutorial.
is length times width times height. Here the length is 2.5 feet, the width is 1 1/4 feet, and the height is 3/4 foot. So the volume equals 2.5 times 1 1/4 times 3/4. 2.5 can be written as 5/2, and 1 1/4 can be written as 5/4. 5/2 times 5/4 is 25/8, and 25/8 times 3/4 is 75 over 32. 75 over 32, written as a mixed number, is 2 and 11 over 32. So the volume is 2 and 11 over 32 cubic feet. Part B. Again, the volume of a rectangular prism is length times width times height. Here the length is 6/7 centimeter, the width is 6/7 centimeter, and the height is 6/7 centimeter. So the volume equals 6/7 times 6/7 times 6/7. 6/7 times 6/7 is 36/49. And 36/49 times 6/7 equals 216 divided by 343. So the volume is 216 over 343 cubic centimeter.
I know that was fast, but if you need to pause the video and go a little slower, you can. But that's, if there's no fractions, it's a little easier. But it's just length times width times height. Let's take a look at a couple more here. So if I work on this one, length is 1 times 1 1/3. Well, 1 times anything is itself, right? So I have 1 1/3 times 1/2. So I'm going to change 1 1/3 to 4/3, and I'm going to multiply it times 1/2, and I get 4 over 6, which would be 2/3. And here we have 3/4 times 3/4, which would be 9 over 16, times 3/4 again, which would be 27 over 64. Let's see. Yep. So 2/3 and 27 over 64. So just do this times this, get your answer, and then multiply it times this so you don't get overwhelmed. All right, that's it for example 1.